Okay, welcome to the recap. My expectation for today was either a retracement or just chop because we already took the draw, which was these daily equal highs, and ES took all-time high here. So I viewed Monday and Tuesday as manipulation for the week, Wednesday and Thursday as the expansion, and because the draw was already taken, I expected not much out of Friday. On top of that, we had this SMT with previous day high. So, because of this SMT, I was pretty bearish, and this 4-hour gap became my draw. Mostly because you can see 1800 opened lower, and we've closed above it, but it didn't really open lower into anything. It just left behind this 4-hour gap. Same idea on ES. So it mostly just chopped around 1800 and leaves this gap here. So my expectation was for this SMT to hold right here, or if I'm just wrong for the day, then we just trade higher and make new all-time highs. But what I wanted to do is look for shorts. We had these two unfilled 1-hour gaps, and this 4-hour gap became my draw for the day. We did have like a bit of an SMT with Asia low here, but I wasn't worried about that because this move already happened and took previous day high. And we had a new SMT with previous day high. So I wanted to see this SMT hold and get a move lower. Now I waited for 10 a.m., which is right here. So what I wanted to see is for 10 a.m. to open lower and get a short from there. So I looked at this 4-hour close, and I wanted for this to close bearish, which it did, and it made this 4-hour rejection block right here. So what I was looking for is for 10 a.m. to open here, trade higher first into this 4-hour rejection block. This one on ES2. And for me, this was a good rejection block because of the SMT and because we swept out previous day high with it. And on ES, it swept these highs and London high. So what happened is we had this 4-hour RB and we actually had this small 1-hour as well, which I wasn't really looking at, but we did actually tap it. So I first looked at the 3-minute right here. And this is a little tricky to trade because we did come down at open and we hit the 1-hour gap right here, and we rebalanced this range. So like looking for longs did make sense, but I was still bearish just because, mostly because of the SMT. This SMT with previous day high held a lot of weight, and because 1800 didn't trade into this 4-hour. So this was still my draw, and I still wanted to see lower. And this was pretty hard to catch a good entry because it's just so choppy in here. And we have these highs that we could have reswept, but this 1-hour rejection block gets tapped here, and the CE of this 4-hour rejection block, which looked perfect for me because 10 a.m. pretty much opened up higher into this. It did manipulate a little bit lower at first, but I didn't really worry about this too much because this isn't, like, it just taps 1800, but I wasn't expecting for this to be the manipulation of the 1 hour candle. I was expecting this as the manipulation for the 1 hour candle, mostly because of how the 4 hour closed right here. So this would have been the entry, which is this 5-minute rejection block. It taps the 1 hour rejection block. It also taps this 5-minute rejection block, the CE of that. There's like 10 rejection blocks here. This is also like a 15-minute rejection block. But I was mostly looking at this 4-hour rejection block, and it doesn't close past the CE here, and it rebalances this 5-minute range. So yeah, that's what I saw. I put my limit on this 5-minute here, but it didn't give me an entry. And ES actually makes a 3-minute, which looked okay, but this 5-minute looked really good. So ES gives the entry right here. So this would have been really nice, but unfortunately no entry. Would go break even at 10 a.m. and probably just target this low. But no entry here. I don't think you don't get a 1-minute. You don't get tapped in here. But the 3-minute right here or the 5-minute would have been really nice. Then from there, I pretty much was like, okay, I'm not going to get an entry on this. But what I saw is we close past 10 a.m. on the 5-minute here, and we make this 15-minute rejection block. Like, this isn't really the best rejection block, but we do have this 5-minute order block right here with 10 a.m. And we do have a small 1-minute gap right here. So I did think about taking this, but I was just too slow. Because you can see we tap 10 a.m. right here after we close past it. And this 15-minute closes. And it gets tapped in right away. But I was just too slow to get into this. And price was like right here when I saw this. And I wasn't super sure about this, like about the stop placement. But stop here would make sense because we do have this little 1-minute range. So this would have been a really good trade. So this would have been the actual entry that you do get. And I think it gives an entry on ES2. Well, no. Does it? Yeah. So would have had to be quicker with this one, but this ended up playing out. After that, there was pretty much no more entries. We still had this 4-hour gap. And what I wanted to see was for 11 a.m. to open up higher into this 15-minute gap right here. Because I didn't get an entry with 10 a.m. But 11 a.m. opened and it just traded into the gap right here. So the only really entry I would have liked for continuation was this 3-minute. And I thought about taking this 3-minute right here. I just didn't like how there was a 15-minute gap above. So we had this 3-minute rejection block, but it was at 10:40. And this 15-minute was going to close and open up this 15-minute gap right here. So what I would have wanted is for this high to get reswept, trade into this 15-minute gap and this 5-minute gap right here, and then get another 3-minute rejection block. But yeah, this is pretty much the only 3-minute rejection block that we formed on the way down here. And yeah, once we hit the 4 hour, I just hopped off because that was my draw for the day. I didn't expect anything else out of that after this move down. So yeah, I wouldn't really want to take longs out of this just because it's later in the day and we already had, this was pretty much the move for the day. But yeah, unfortunate, no entry for me on this. This would have been so nice, but yeah, it's alright. So, at least I had the right idea for the day. But NQ didn't want to give an entry. I mean, it did give an entry, actually. It did give the 10 a.m. tap. Where was that? Up here. So, yeah. This would have been nice. But yeah, that's my buys for the day and the trade that I missed, unfortunately. But hopefully that makes sense. I would want to see ES hit this 4 hour. But maybe we go lower from here. I'm not sure. Because we do have a good bit of lows here. These are relative equal lows. Or this 4 hour could hold and we just trade higher. So we'll see what we do. We'll see how the day closes and go from there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.